Hello everyone, welcome back. I have another little podcast thing. I don't really know what to call them, but basically every once in a while I'll see something like the one that I made about YouTube being too toxic or all gaming going digital, blah blah blah. Just topics that pop up every once in a while. And this one is one that's been going on for years, but I haven't really said anything about it. I don't even know if I've replied to anyone. And the reason for that I'll get to in a second of why I don't reply. But basically, I've been on YouTube since 2008, which you can't really technically count because that's when I started my channel, and I was just doing a bunch of random shit here and there. So it was just like, I would upload poorly done cell phone footage of me playing games, or I would just show random stuff like going around to a playground and rolling around down the slide. Just random stuff like that from when I was younger. But ever since the tail end of 2012, I think it was around October, I started doing my first Let's Play kind of videos where I'd play games and have like a whole setup going. And the early stuff is pretty bad, I will say. I have a lot better equipment now. I have a microphone that doesn't cost $10. It's actually a professional one. So I use like a $130 editing software. So it's a lot of effort that goes into it. So a lot of that, when I started to change, my views, I think my total views back then was, I want to say like 1,200, so I didn't really have that many views, and I think I had maybe 10 subscribers, and at least 3 or 4 of them were my friends, so it doesn't really count in that scenario. But basically, when I switched over to the gaming channel, I now have over 5,000 subscribers, and I have almost 1.5 million total views, which in the grand scheme of things is not really that big, but it's enough for people to look at and say, hey, this guy might have some influence behind him. So what they do is they'll message me. Sometimes they'll be subtle about it. Sometimes they'll say, hey man, a great video, or I really love your video. And I'll be like, oh, thanks man. And then the follow-up is always the same. It always has the same follow-up. And it's always, oh, you're welcome. Hey, mind coming to my channel and sharing my video and subscribing and blah, blah, blah. Any other thing that they think will give them free promotion. And look, it's not easy. I will say, I've been doing this since 2012, and all my growth has either been on things that I knew would get big, or just random luck. Like, my biggest video is a Warlock video in Destiny. Out of all my videos, I would say that's more on the end of just your average video. Like, oh, this is just a video I made. This has, it has really no significance to me, and I really didn't think it was gonna get big, and then boom, it's a big video. It's the biggest one I have, and I have no idea why. So a part of that people don't get is they think, oh, this guy has a lot of views, he'll share me, I'll get a lot of views. That's really not the case. YouTube is like 99% luck. Like, every big YouTuber you've seen is almost always luck related. People out there like PewDiePie, Markiplier, I don't know if Toby Turner does games anymore after he had that whole weird sexual assault court case or whatever the hell happened to that guy. But it's not to say they're the most talented, it's just that they were able to get in, and they were the first ones to secure that position. So it's like, for whatever reason, that Mr. Gear guy who heats up knives and melts them on shit, or like this weird new craze where people are dressing up like Spider-Man and Elsa and doing weird shit like that. It's not that those channels are like the epitome of just top content. It's just that they saw a market that nobody else was going in, or they saw one that was emerging, so they were one of the first few people to get in there, and boom, they're big now. So part of that, I was on the lower end of people coming into doing these Let's Plays. That's why I have 5,000 instead of like 2 million. So it's one of those things that I was a little late to the game, but I still caught a little bit of the momentum going forward. But a lot of people creating channels now, all that momentum is gone. It's moving so quick that it's all the way down the stream and you're just now trying to catch up. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen the way you think it will. It may happen if you just keep making videos, see if they'll blow up, and that's really all you can do. You can pay YouTube to have advertisements, which is part of what I do. I use them for certain times in the year. Mainly during the first half of the year, because during the fall and forward, or really during the summer to the winter, there's a good stretch there where a lot of new games are coming out, so you'll see your stats peak. But during this part of the year, I usually run advertisements because it's a good way to get people in and keep the audience growing. But I gotta tell you, it's just like, if you think it's gonna be just in and out, hey, I'm gonna message this guy, he's gonna share me, I'm gonna make $1 million a week, it's not the case. It's not going to happen. And I'm telling you as somebody who's been in that area of being 12 subscribers. I went from 12 to 5,000, and hopefully in the future further than that. And I went video-wise from like 1,000 to 1.4 million. And that was all entirely luck-based, or just me on my own. I would put out a video, and it would get like 10 views. and then the next video I'd put out would get like 30,000 views. There's just no way to rationalize it when you see it. It's just, this video will get big and this one won't. And there's no reason why either of them will get big or won't get big. It's just you make the videos that you want to make. If it doesn't get views, then it doesn't get views. But going up to people and saying, hey, share my videos, you may think nothing of it because being on the other side of the spectrum, being on the audience side, you look at these things and think, oh, there's this guy, he makes videos, he has views, I'll just ask him. I'll say, hey, share my videos. And you may think it's harmless. You go to like 20 people a day, spam that same message to them, or you do the phishing thing where it's like, hey, I really love this video, and then when they respond, you're like, oh, I got him. Now I'm going to tell them to come to my channel. It doesn't work that way. I have never, ever done that to anyone. No matter how big they are, even if they were close to my subscriber count, even if they were at like 4,000 or 5,000, the first message I ever send them is never, hey, share my video. Because I know that deep down, that's like one of the rudest things you can do to any kind of content creator. Same thing out in Hollywood. When you see, like, let's say Bruce Willis or Ryan Reynolds, you see them sitting at a Starbucks. These guys are way bigger than me. I'm not trying to compare myself here. I'm just using an example that everyone can wrap their heads around. So you see Ryan Reynolds sitting at a Starbucks, and you go up to him and shake his hand and say, hey, love your movies. And he's like, oh, yeah, thanks, man. And then you pull out a script from your pocket, and you slam it down on the table, and you say, hey, not only look at that, but I want you to tell everyone about that. I want you to make that into a movie, and I want you to tell everyone I did it, and I'm not going to give you anything. I'm just going to take all of the free publicity from that. He's not going to say, you know what, good call. He's going to be like, no. He'll probably be nice about it, because he's a nice man. He'll probably sit there and say, sorry, I don't do anything like that. But the answer will almost always be no. And the reason for that is, first of all, it doesn't work, like I said. Whether it's Ryan Reynolds or PewDiePie or whoever, you send them the message and say, hey, make me big, it's not going to happen. I mean, maybe there's a 0.1% chance that they answer and say yes, and now you're in Hollywood. But again, that is a very, very low percentage. What happens most of the time is they'll look at that and they'll say, let's go back to the Ryan Reynolds example. He's making $20 million a year, and he has, let's say, 2 million followers. He looks at this guy who has 10 followers and says, well, what am I going to benefit from this? Now, if Jennifer Lawrence goes up to Ryan Reynolds and says, hey, check out this script, now they're on more of an even playing field. So he'll say, okay, I'll think about it, yeah. Because you just can't, I would never go up to anyone that I watch online, like a PewDiePie. I don't really watch PewDiePie that often. But I would never go up to him and say, hey man, share me. Because his response would be either no or why. So it's just something that, from a viewer's standpoint, you can't understand it unless you're on that side as well. So it's one of those things that doesn't sound like an issue. Like, I'm sure someone listening to this is saying, oh, this guy's just being an asshole, rejecting all of these people. But it's not. There's no reason that you should feel bad for saying no, or just saying nothing at all, which is part of what I said at the beginning of the video, why I've never addressed it. Because anytime, no matter how long the conversation's going on, I could be first message, he could say, hey, share my channel, I'll just ignore it. But if we're going on for like 5 messages, or 6 messages, or 10 or 20, or however many they are, if he at some point says, share my video, the conversation is over. No matter if it's in the comments, in a message, on Facebook, YouTube, the conversation ends immediately. Because it's just, you're basically saying, hello, I don't respect you. Give me free advertisement. And the second side of that, not only is it ineffective to begin with, but I don't know anyone who's bringing this information to me. Some guy could be a raging racist or like a sexist, or he could be a psychopath. I have no idea who this guy is. So if I share his channel and 3 months later it turns out he has like bodies in his basement, well, now they're going to be like, yeah, you shared that guy a few months ago. So that's a secondary reason of why you don't do that, because you have no idea who the other guy is on the other side. Now, if it's somebody that you know, or you've seen online, or you've had conversations with, that's when it's okay to say, hey, can you share my stuff? I'll share your stuff. Do you want to do a collaboration? Those are the only times it's acceptable. It's not, hey, I'm going to gain mutual benefits from this. That's definitely part of it, but most of it is you have to be established and people have to know who you are. Like, even people who are big, like Logan Paul, that guy's an asshole. I would never ask him for anything like that. Or if he came to me and said, hey man, I mean, he never would because he's much bigger on YouTube, but if he came to me and said, hey man, you want to work together? I'd flat out say no, because he made that whole video about pretending to be colorblind just to get views, and he sit there and did those fake crocodile tears. Meanwhile, 2 months earlier, he has a video where he's like, oh, look at all these beautiful colors. So people like that, people who are big but assholes at the same time, even then I won't consider them. So it's not just, oh, look at you with your small channel. No. It's more of just the mystery behind it. Or if I know who it is, then it makes it a little easier to make a decision. But you can't have that expectation of going up to somebody and thinking you're just going to get that free, easy ride. And I don't want to be bursting anyone's bubbles here, but that's just the sad reality of it. I mean, you could put in, there are people, musicians, there's YouTubers, there's people all over the world who are uber talented, and they're talented in everything they do, and they probably aren't even recognizable. They'll probably go their whole life without even being noticed. And it sucks. There's just sometimes that it doesn't work out for you. Like, for every Justin Bieber, there's like 300 musicians that really try and have talent, and you'll never hear about them because they just didn't get that window. So it's, again, in this situation, you just have to, if you enjoy doing it, then do it. But if you're going in there thinking, hey, I'm going to make a Minecraft Let's Play channel, I hate it, I hate doing it, but you know what, I might get big and I might make enough money, you're going to fail. You're going to fail right off the bat because you're not going to enjoy it, you're not going to do it for very long, and you're not going to get big because no one's going to give a shit. Not about Minecraft, but about the lack of caring behind it. So it just dissolves down to, if you're in this to go up to people and say, hey, share me, get me big, I want to be big, I want money, I want fame, I want to drive a nice car, I want to get that YouTube gold button. If you're going in it for that mentality, then absolutely not. And this is coming from my end. Whenever people ask me to share their stuff, that's the person that I assume they are, where they're just wanting to get in for the fame and the glory. I've been doing this just because I like it. I mean, I've been playing games since I was an infant. Ever since I was like 2 years old, I've been playing Sega Genesis, I think it was. I think I was a Sega family. I might have also had a Super Nintendo. Very foggy memories. But either way, part of it's just a natural extension because I always enjoyed playing games, and then I saw that it was a emerging market on YouTube and thought, hey, I like doing that. I'm just going to go on there and do it. So bottom line, I've taken several winding roads here. But to summarize the entire video, just do not go up and ask people that. You might think it's harmless and you might not think anything of it, but I guarantee the person will lose a little bit of respect for you when you do that. Now again, if it's mutual, if you two know each other, it doesn't matter if you have 10 subscribers and he has 50 million subscribers. If you know each other in person and you're friends and you two get along and you've worked together or you both want to work together, that is completely separate. Ask away. Ask them, hey, do you want to collaborate on this? But just don't go around assuming that everyone's your golden ticket. How you see a YouTuber with a lot of views or a lot of subscribers and you think, aha, that guy, I'm going to latch onto him and he's going to take me to the top. It's just not going to work. So just push that out of your mind. If you enjoy doing it, then keep doing it, but keep your expectations relatively small. Because I gotta say, the percentage of people that make it on YouTube is very, very small. I think they said something like, what was it, like the top 100 channels are making 6 figures? Now, that might be an old statistic. I think people are making more money now on YouTube, but that's something that you should definitely keep in mind. I don't think I'm contractually obligated to say anything, but I think I've made close to 800 or something on YouTube, 1,000, and that's over the course of like 4 years. That's nothing. For an adult, for a 22-year-old, I make a lot more than that every year at my real job, which is another thing you should also do. Do not quit your day job for YouTube. I don't care if you're making $30,000, $50,000. YouTube is a bubble and it will pop. As you're seeing right now with all these YouTubers scrambling and screaming, saying, this algorithm's killing me. It will. It will kill you. You just have to keep expectations short, as I've been saying. If you make it big on YouTube, take that money, invest it into a skill, invest it into a talent. Are you a musician? Do that. Do you like photography? Put it into that. Put it into something that you can take away from YouTube. Don't just look at YouTube as like the final answer. Like, this is going to be it. My life's going to be 100% better after this. So anyway, I have a lot of tips there. Might be a little bit of a dark subject telling you that your dreams are going to fail. But don't take that away from it. Keep doing what you want to do. That's the main message. There's a lot of people out there that'll tell you, like especially pop stars, where they just lie to your face on stage and say, if you follow your dreams, you will succeed. That is absolutely not true. Sometimes if you follow your dreams, you will fail miserably, but that's the whole point. You're supposed to just try, and if it doesn't work, then you say, oh, well, that didn't work, and then you go do something else. But don't try to ride people to the top. I can't express that enough. I've been seeing it for years, and it's never situations where I'm never feeling better about a conversation because somebody asked me to share them. I always I look at them, I lose a little bit of respect, and then I turn away and walk off and just close it out and go on to the next YouTube page. So keep that in mind if you comment on my videos. I'm sure a lot of people that comment on my videos aren't going to see this one, but if you do see this one, just don't ask me in the future. And if I stop responding to you, you'll know why, because it's something that I'll never change. I'll always be set in stone on this topic. So if you want to have a real discussion with me, then definitely do that. but don't try to get free promotion because I've never done that to anyone and I never will, and it just doesn't work. So anyway, Wednesday I've got Resident Evil coming out. I'm either going to do a Too Spooky for Me or I'm just going to show off Madhouse gameplay. I think either way it's going to be in Madhouse, although I might do the infinite ammo one. That sounds pretty cool. Anyway, so wrap that up for now. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something from the video, hopefully, and I will see you next time.